Hi, my name is Corey. This recording is for an overview class for Microsoft Word Basics. The aim of the class is to go over a couple of things. We have a few objectives here that we'd like to achieve by the end of things here. We'd like for you to be able to open new and existing documents, be able to copy and paste text, be able to use the undo redo function, be able to format font by selecting font type, size, color, and using bold, italic, and underline. Be able to format paragraphs via alignment, bullets, numbering, and line spacing, be able to manipulate document margins, be able to save documents, and be able to print documents. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so what we want to do is we want to start out is open a new Word document. I've already got mine ready here. You just want to go to Word and double click on that. And then we want to explore the ribbon switch between Home tab and the Page Layout tab. So we'll kind of do this general overview here. So for File, that's typically used, or at least what we're going to go over in this class. File is mostly used for printing and saving, or at least in the context of this class. Home is the options that you will use more frequently, and we'll get into those options. And Page Layout, which is just layout right here, which are options to change how the page will print, like margins. And we're going to basically show you how to minimize and restore the ribbon, the Office ribbon as it's called. By doing that, you just click Home here, and that brings down your Office ribbon right there. And then to kind of retract it, you just hit Home again and it disappears, but we're going to hit Home and have it pop down there. Okay, so we're going to go over some of the keyboard buttons here as far as like placing the cursor and selecting. Computer doesn't know what you want it to do until you tell it. So changes will be made from where the black blinking line appears. Highlighting changes text in bulk. So like if you were to highlight like a whole paragraph, you're going to change the bulk of that paragraph, not just a sentence in it. The enter key on your keyboard actually starts a new paragraph, and even if you only have a couple of words on the line. We're going to go ahead real quick here. Actually, we're going to open our file here, excuse me. We'll just open a Wikipedia here. Okay, then I'm going to highlight and copy and paste a paragraph from here and put it in my Word document. And we'll get into copying and pasting later in this class. Okay, so we're just going to do a basic paste there. Okay, so here's our paragraph here to kind of show you an example. To start a new paragraph, we want our cursor, as we just mentioned. This is your cursor right here. If you want to start a new paragraph, you just hit enter, and it brings you down a line to where you can start your new paragraph. The paragraph started where the cursor was when you hit enter. So where we clicked here, we hit enter, and it goes down from that. So one of the things we'll do here is we'll go ahead and show you how backspace works. So we're gonna backspace the whole first sentence here, which is a pretty long one. So what we're going to do is we're going to click after the period with our cursor here. But actually, see, we have the annotation here from the Wikipedia article. So if we want to get rid of that, we actually want to click after that too. So click there, and then you just hold down backspace until you've deleted the entire row. And you can tap it, or you can just hold it down. So if you want to tap it, you can get individual letters. If you hold it down, it'll go way faster. Okay, so that's all deleted now. We've backspaced that entire sentence out. So just a couple basic things as far as like how to use the mouse and some of the keys on the keyboard here. And now we're going to move on to copy and paste. So as I mentioned before, we kind of already jumped ahead a little bit by copying and pasting from that Wikipedia article, but I didn't explain what we were doing exactly. So now we're going to explain exactly what to do. So copy and paste allows you to take text from one place and move it to another. Some job search sites require you to copy and paste in your resume. This shortcut saves you from retyping the entire document. So what we want to do is we're going to take a chunk of that Wikipedia article and let's go down here to the body and we're going to copy and paste it. So we're going to hit enter a couple times to get away from our paragraph up there or a sentence up there. And you have a couple different paste options here. Let's jump back real quick. So to actually do your copying here, what you want to do is you want to place the cursor in front of where you want to highlight, or you can do it either in front of or behind. What we're going to do is we're going to do it in front of, and then you want to hold down the left button and then drag it across the text that you want to copy. So as you can see here, I'm holding down the left button and I'm dragging it across the paragraph, and we're going to go up all the way to the top here. And then when we get to where we want to finish copying, we click off of the right click or the left click button, excuse me. So as you can see here, the cursor's on Napoli, and as I let go, it still stays highlighted. After it stays highlighted, we want to right click on it and make sure that when you right click on it that your cursor is actually in the body of the text. So as you can see, the cursor's here in the body of the text, and I'm going to right click, copy. So when you right click, this menu comes up. You have these options here. The only one we need is copy, and then you left click copy, and then you bring up Microsoft Word, and then you want to right click again to bring up that same menu, and then you have paste options. The different paste options, you have keep source formatting. What that's going to do is, as you can see from the Wikipedia article, it keeps the formatting exactly the same. It looks exactly how it was almost as it was in the Wikipedia article. And then you have merge formatting, which is kind of like a balance between the two in a sort of way. And then you have keep text only, which merge formatting is kind of between keep text only and keep source formatting. So you have these different paste options. We're just going to do keep text only to keep it simple. And as you can see, it shows up with just the text. It doesn't have any of the links, any of the formatting, any of the different colors, anything like that. You always use right click copy, right click paste, and then that's basically how you do it. What we'll do is show you how to delete it here. So if we want to delete that, let's say we got the wrong paragraph, you just highlight it all, just as if you were going to copy it, and then you just hit backspace, and it will delete the whole thing. And let's go back here and get the right paragraph. So once again, I'm highlighting it right here. I started it at the end of the paragraph, but you can start at the beginning. To show you, I'll do from the beginning this time. So here we go, starting from the beginning, holding down the left mouse button, dragging it across the text, and not letting go of the button until I get to the end of the part I want to copy. And then I let go, it stays highlighted, and then I right click on the body of the text that's highlighted, hit copy. So you right click, brings up that menu, left click copy, text is still highlighted, you bring up Microsoft Word, and then you right click, and then your paste options are right here. And there we go. And I selected the text only again. So once again, the formatting and everything isn't there. Okay, so that was just kind of like a little bit of practicing. Almost lost my camera there. Okay, so moving along from there. So being able to copy and paste within Word is pretty cool. However, you can also use copy and paste almost anywhere on a computer. Many job applications have you copy and paste your resume onto their website. Or what if you want to pull some text from a long article? You don't want to retype that? Copy and paste. So in this letter, we want to tell our, excuse me here, we're jumping ahead a little bit. Okay, so let's do just like another type of copying and pasting, actually. Scratch what I was saying before. Okay, so let's go to like our web address here. This is the Wikipedia article. You probably can't see it, but let's see here. I'm up in the address bar on the internet, and then I'm just going to paste it here in the Word file. So if there's no formatting or anything like that with the text, you will sometimes only get options. Like in this case, it's a URL, so it's text only. So that's our only option. So I have to select that. That's the only paste I can do. So I'm going to select that, and then the URL shows up in there after me copying and pasting it. All right, so that pretty much covers that. We're going to move on to font now. So what is font? So the font is kind of like a metaphor for the font is the handwriting of the computer. Just like everyone writes in a different style, the computer can write in different styles as well. Elements of the font include the shape of the letters, what we call the font face, the color, the size, the thickness, etc. Whenever you want to edit something on the computer, the first thing you have to do is to select what you want to change. So the first thing that we'll do is we'll go ahead and modify this first paragraph here that we have on the screen. So we're going to change the font face, which, as we just mentioned, that's basically the font type or like what the shape of the letters are. So what we'll do is we'll highlight this, and then we want to bring down our Office ribbon. And make sure that you highlight it kind of as we described with the copy and paste. What you want to do is make sure that you actually have the text that you want changed highlighted. And then what you can do is over here is the font segment of the ribbon. And this is the where you can select your different fonts. So we have it at Calibri right now. And we'll change it to the Old Times New Roman. So as you can see, it changed right there, and we have a different font face now. You can also change the color. As you can see, some of the letters are already changed in color because of the way that we did the pastes, but we can change all of them to one color if you'd like. So in this case, what we'll do is we'll change them all to blue. And as you can see, all the letters change to blue. These other things that are down here, these are your other options that you can do with your lettering. This first one is B for bold, I for italics, and U for underline. So we can, as you can see, if I hit bold, if I hit bold, everything goes to bold. If I hit italicize, that's what happens, and then I can underline it too. And then if you ever want to remove these, you just hit it again. And as you can see, it kind of looks like a button that's held down. If you just click it again, it doesn't look like that anymore. And you can see that the underline goes away, the italics go away, and the bold goes away. So just a reminder that you do need to select whatever you want to change. If you don't select it, you won't see any of the changes. And yeah, that's about it for font. We're going to move on to paragraph now. Just like we changed the font, we have paragraph formatting options to manage paragraph spacing and alignment. So what we're going to do here is adjust the paragraph alignment for the date. So, or maybe not for the date, but we're going to adjust the paragraph alignment on parts of our document here that we copied and pasted from Wikipedia. So we have a file here that we're not using. So we're going to show you one of the ways that we can do this here. So a lot of people, when they try to move text, we see a lot of people that try and do this. They'll put their cursor behind where they want to move the text, and then they'll just hit the space bar a few times, so like indent or something like that. So that can eat up a lot of time, though, unfortunately, and can be kind of cumbersome, and it's also imprecise, or it's not exact. So one of the things that we can do here is we can use right align to move the text to the information to the right side of the page or wherever we'd like. So let's make sure that our Office ribbon is down here again. And what we want to do is we want to highlight the text, just like we mentioned before that we want to change or adjust. So highlight it up here, and you want to hit home. And then up here are your options. So the paragraph segment is right next to the font segment on the Office ribbon, where you can change paragraphs or do adjustments or things like that. And what we want to do is align right. So your options right here, if you just hold the cursor over the icon, it'll tell you exactly what it is. Just don't click. So as you can see here, I'm holding the cursor over align right. So if I click that, it's going to change everything over like that. If I hit the center, it's going to center it like that. If I hit it left like that, it's going to center it to the left. Okay, so that covers our alignment processes. And now what we want to do is go over some paragraph spacing stuff, some more paragraph spacing stuff. So Word has started doing some weird stuff with paragraph spacing. It looks great when you have big blocks of text like in a letter, but it doesn't always look that great. When you have an address, for example, the spacing can look atrocious or can look off. What we're going to do is go ahead and click here before the text, and then we are going to hit enter a few times to bring the text down the page a little bit. Okay, so we want to go back up here to our paragraph part here. And we want to find our line and paragraph spacing, which is right there. And then what we want to do is go ahead and highlight this, and we're going to just show you how kind of like our adjustments can be made. So if you click on that, you have all your different line spacing options here. And this comes into use if you're doing like letters, like we said before, or addresses, and it kind of spaces things properly, and you have all your different options here. And as you can tell here, the numbers are different degrees of line spacing and such. And you can see how it adjusts our text depending on whatever you select. There's more to it than that, but these are like the default settings with the numerals right here that show you how you can adjust it right here. And that's pretty much the bare basics of line spacing. There's different ways of using it, but we're not going to get into that as we're just going over the basics here for now. Okay, so the next thing we're going to go over is lists and bullet lists. Bullets are a way of calling out lists in your document. There's like a couple different documents. You might have seen things with like bulleted or numbered lists on them, things like resumes, recipes, statistics. Bullets are used in unordered lists usually. So when you list skills in a resume, you aren't saying, I'm first good at this, then I'm second good at that. You're making a list of things that you do really well in no particular order. Numbered lists are a little more straightforward. They are lists that show you there's an exact sequence to the list. For example, like who finished the race in what order, what you should do first when you were building a chair from IKEA, and so on. So we're just going to kind of show you how some of the basic functions of the bullet list are utilized. So one of the things that we can do here, oops. We can go ahead and kind of break this into this paragraph into a list on its own. So what we'll do, show you here, what we want to do is highlight these things. We want to highlight these two parts of the paragraph. And then we want to go up here where we see on the paragraph segment, you can see the bullets right here. When you select that, it's going to add the bullets like that. And then the other thing that you can do too, if you want to add to the list or continue the list, as long as you have the bullet list selected up here, let's press down like that. If we hit return to start a new paragraph, it will start a new bullet. You don't even have to type actually, you can just keep hitting, oh, excuse me, actually you do have to type, my mistake. So yeah, as long as you type, it'll still keep going. If you don't type anything, it's going to think that you aren't doing the list anymore. So, excuse me there. But yeah, as long as you keep hitting enter and typing, then you can keep adding bullets to your list. So that's bullet lists and kind of just the basic function of those. From there, moving on, we're going to go on to spell check. So we don't want to print out documents that have grammar or spelling mistakes usually. So we want to double check we didn't mess anything up, and by using spell check we can do that. The first option we have to perform a spell check is either as we go or for a document that is only a couple pages long. When there's a word misspelled, there's usually a red squiggly line under it. Right click on the misspelled word. So let's go ahead and type out a misspelled word here. I'm going to misspell people. As you can see, the little red squiggly line appears there right away. Okay, so the first kind of method that we're going to use is right click on the actual word, and that brings up an options list. This is a list of word choices. You can just select the correct one from here. So as you can see, people's right there, and we'll just select that, and then it changes it for you. There's still a squiggly line under there, but that's just a grammar thing. It's just because there's a word there without a sentence around it or anything. But as you can see, it's corrected the spelling on it. But yeah, the blue line means a grammar issue. If we right click on it, you can see right here, grammar. Or you can ignore it if you want. But we won't get too much into that because once again, this is just the basics. But if you click on it, it brings up this bar to the right here. And this bar to the right will tell you, it'll kind of give you options. We did kind of a weird one because there's no sentence in here, so our options are kind of limited here, but normally it'll give you like a list of options, and you can select whichever one has the actually correct grammar. This method works great for short documents or for mistakes you notice as you are working, but it's not the best for longer documents, as we mentioned before. This method, like we said before, it's usually the best for documents that are only a couple pages long. Okay, the other way we can do it too is mess up a few of our words here. Okay, so a lot of spelling errors here in this little segment here. So one of the things we can do, we can also do a spell check for, this isn't a longer document, but just to kind of show you, this would be the method that you would use if it was a longer document, if it was several pages long, or if you wanted to just do it the most quickest way. So you want to go up to review, and there's a spelling and grammar button up here as well. So what you want to do is just click that. Move my window here. So here are your options once you do the spell check. It shows you all it shows you like a definition, it shows you the different spellings, it shows you what you might have meant. It's pretty intricate, and it goes through each individual spelling error. You can ignore them, you could ignore all, you can add. So like if we ignore this one, it'll move on to the next one, for example. If it's trying to point out that this name is spelled wrong, which it will do sometimes, you can just ignore that in those cases. So that's a good example, actually. That's a good reason to hit ignore. And if you're using the same name multiple times, and you don't want it to show up as a spelling error every time, you can hit ignore all. So in this case, like if this name showed up like 80 times in the document, you didn't want it to give you a spell check error every time, you just hit ignore all and it won't do it again. So pretty nifty little function there. And that's pretty much spell check. So moving on to margins. What is a margin? It is a white space around the outside of the page.
The library will close in 15 minutes. Please save your print document. Thank you.
So it's kind of hard to see here, but the margins are essentially like the space around the outside of the page, as I just said. There's a couple things. It's basically this area around here. Get this stuff out of the way. Yeah, so your margins are like the area around the page where the cursor won't go. It's like kind of the border or the edges of the page. As you can see here, I can't click on the margins. There's a couple different reasons that is there, and you can actually adjust it as well. There's a couple different reasons you might want to adjust a margin to give the page more space, especially with resumes where page space is a premium. And there's a couple different ways you can change it. Your margins are changed through layout. So as you can see, it says margins right here, and then you can indent, change your indenting, your spacing, all different other sorts of options through here and around here. But this is the basic function of it here, is the indentation and the spacing. So that's the basic function of margins, and from there we're going to now move on to saving. So we're going to spend some time talking about a topic that we have enough time for sure. We're going to kind of go over save or save as. Save as basically is if you have a new file that you want to create a new file, you're going to use save as. So let's say like we haven't, this is a completely new file that we opened that we've been doing here from the Wikipedia article, and we want to start a new save file. We would click save as, and then from here, what you would want to do is, well, actually, let's go back. Let's explain the basic functions like I said here. So save as is for new documents, or when you want to save an additional copy of a document. Save, which is right above save as here, is for saving changes made to a previously saved document. So that's like if the documents already existed before. Since this, like I said before, since this is a new file with the Wikipedia information on it, we wouldn't want to use save, we'd want to use save as to save it. So by default, I think, if I remember correctly, it goes to save as. Okay, when you do click save as, you can see over here, it brings up this column with all the different areas that you can save to. What we want to do is, you can see the drives that you can save to. What we want to do is click browse. And with this, it allows you to choose a very specific location, like a folder, a drive, a flash drive, any of those things. All those things will appear over here on the left. And from there, you can select whatever you'd like, or wherever you'd like to save the item, save the file. And yeah, to change where the file's saved, you want to use the left-hand navigation device over here that I just showed you. So in this case, we're going to save it to the desktop, which is going to be right here under this PC. And you can change the file right here under file name. You can change the title. You can change the file type right here. We're just going to leave it as is. If you don't select a file type, it'll usually take the first sentence from the file and use that. So we're going to just do that, save that. Okay, and then let's minimize. To show you where the file is. Okay, yeah, it's on our desktop now. And that's save as, at least. So let's go ahead and do save now. We're going to make a minor change here. Gibberish. And now we're going to do save. Okay, so yeah, we didn't get a dialog box or the same box that popped up before because we overwrote the previous file. And that's what happens when you do save. It overwrites the previous file instead of making a new one. If you wanted to make a new one, you would then do save as. So yeah, we didn't get the box because it overwrote the previous file with the changes we made to the document. So just to clarify, save or save as. A good example, like if you've updated your resume with your new address, would you save or save as? You'd want to save. You want to create a duplicate copy of your resume so you can tailor it for a different type of job application, save or save as. You'd want to do save as because you're making a new file. So those are just a couple examples. All right, so for the final activity for our class here today, we're going to just show you how to print. To print, you want to go up here in your toolbar and click File. When you go to File, right under Save As is Print. And what you want to do is click Print. And when you click Print, it's going to show you all the documents are going to print on a print preview to the right. And that's basically what it's going to look like when it comes out of the printer. You can actually scroll through the pages if you'd like. You can see we have two here. If you go to this arrow down here, you can go to the next page. We only have 2, but if we were to have more than 2, you'd be able to flip through them. It shows them 2 at a time. Since we only have 2 here, not much to see, but that's how you change the pages. And then if you want to print multiple copies, you have your option to do so up here. And then if you want to change printers, you can do so right here. Once everything looks good, you have the amount of copies that you want. Everything looks good on the preview. You want to select print, and that will send it to your printer. All right, that essentially includes our lesson today on Microsoft Word Basics. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.